Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm naming this The House of Nerdy. And today gonna be talking about and breaking down the new Hawkeye trailer that just dropped for this new dope Hawkeye show. It's supposed to be coming out November 24th, a month before Spider-Man, probably gonna lead into Spider-Man. And we just about to talk about it. The first thing I want to hit on is the fact that this looks like the comics. This looks like I started reading the Matt Fraction Hawkeye run. It's great. I haven't finished it yet. I'm like midway through. I got to finish it. But from what I've seen from the trailer, I only saw like 2 minutes. Like it was only like a 2-minute trailer. But from what I saw from the trailer and what I've seen from the comics, it looks like it's the closest thing Marvel's done to like a straight adaptation of a comic book run. Usually the MCU takes their liberties, and they will with the show. This isn't going to be exactly from the comics, but like they usually take a lot of liberties. Like Civil War and MCU, way more toned down than in the comics. Some would argue it's better. Some would argue it's worse. It's just a lot more toned down. Like there's a lot less in it because MCU can use all those things. They didn't have all those things established. You know what I mean? So they don't have everything in the comic book established, and I don't know if they want to establish all these things in the comic book, but they will establish some of these things from the comic book in the show, if that makes sense. Like they're not going to take everything. They're going to take what they like and what they feel comfortable having in the show. You know what I mean? The thing I'm most excited for is really Kate Bishop, because she's gonna be in the Young Avengers. She's gonna continue in MCU, and I love Hailee Steinfeld. She's a great actor. She was amazing in the Bumblebee movie, and I like every single Transformer movie I like. All right, but hers was one of the better ones. It was one of the good movies in the Transformer line. So I think she could really kill this character and really be one of the more popular characters going forward. But we can't forget about my main man, Hawkeye. You know what I mean? Like, Hawkeye is dope. If you like archery and like somebody who's like deadly accurate, like, yeah, he's dope. He's amazing. You know what I mean? And he has a whole bunch of cool different type of bow and arrows, which, you know, we saw like an arrow with a tennis ball at the end of it. Crazy. Like stuff like that, like bomb arrows, like whatever you want. If you met Spider-Man, he'd probably make like a web arrow. He'd do something like that. Like Hawkeye just has all these cool type of arrows, and I think we're gonna see that in the show. We're gonna see like Hawkeye, how he has to deal with he's an Avenger, but he's like a normal guy. Like I said, like he's not some super powered individual. So like he gets like beat up and like gets into like regular fights, and he might lose. You know, like if it's 7 guys. Captain America can take random 7 punks, you know. Spider-Man can do that. Like, it's easy. Hawkeye's gonna struggle, you know. If he don't got a whole bunch of arrows and a whole bunch of like time and distance and all, he probably gonna lose because he's just not that level of, you know what I mean. I wouldn't even say he's that level of fighter. You know what I mean? He can fight. He can do some things, but there's a reason Natasha's dead because he's just better at like that type of like close quarters combat. He's just a perfect shot. That's all he is. That's really but that's great. You know what I mean? Like, you can make that amazing, and that's what happened in the Matt Fraction run, and I think that's what's gonna happen in this show. I think people are gonna appreciate his accuracy and his archer skills, and appreciate the character of Hawkeye, because there's also like a family aspect with him. You know what I mean? There's his wife and kids, and and it's the fact that he's dealing with all that stuff after Endgame. You know what I mean? Like between Endgame, really, and Infinity War, like when he was going on the run, doing all that crazy stuff, switched from a bow and arrow to a katana for some weird reason. Nobody knows. He don't even know why he did make that switch. It doesn't make sense, but he did that. And what we're probably gonna figure out is like the ramifications of those actions, and him also training Kate Bishop, her getting dragged into this because she's getting trained by him, or she's drags him in. Either way, somebody's gonna get dragged in, and they're gonna be working together to try to probably take down the big villain. And I have a feeling that's gonna be Kingpin, because he's rumored to be in the show. I don't know. Daredevil's also rumored to be in the show, and it's rumored that's going to be our first look at like the multiverse being brought in to the MCU, and that's what I think. You know, and I think that's a great way to do it. You know, you start on the ground level. You start with like, oh, that's Kingpin, but that's the same Kingpin Netflix. Oh, okay, that's Daredevil, but that's the same Daredevil. Okay, Like, people will start understanding. And then when you see Tobey Maguire, you see Andrew Garfield, when you see all these villains in Spider-Man No Way Home a month later, it make even more sense. And you see Multiverse of Madness 3 months later, then it's gonna make complete sense. You know what I mean? It's gonna be what you're expecting. That's how Marvel does it, and I think they did it again beautifully. And I think this show's gonna be amazing.